Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is February 14th, 2021. Happy Valentine's Day. Before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. Now, I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Also, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate that, and it helps me out. Also, if you wanted to leave some comments, which ones you liked, what you didn't like, reasons why, I appreciate that too. I try to respond to everybody and interact with you guys that way also. And again, you can find me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. All right, so today is a stocks to watch video. First, let's talk about the general market conditions, and the market's really strong. I mean, we closed at all-time highs. In my state of the market video, which I post on YouTube, I'll go through my process, but it's just ridiculous right now, strong. Not saying that we can't pull back to the 23-day, which is 3.25%. Or even the 65-day, right? These are EMAs, which is 7%. So that's going to happen along the way and put some doubt and fear. But the trend is higher. Things are looking really, really good. I don't see any stress in the market right now. All right, so that's market conditions. What I'm going to try to do with this video is actually, condense my names down to the best of the best. Things that do not have earnings soon. Actually, two of them have earnings like tomorrow or this week, within a day or two. But the very, very actionable items. A lot of times, I'll have like 30 names or something like that. Today, it's going to be 13 ideas and 6 potential short squeeze ideas. So let's get started. Again, I will go through these reasonably quickly and see. And let you know what I see in them. Make the idea your own. Obviously, it depends on your time frame and risk tolerance. Let's start. First one is plug. So I really do like plug a lot. It shows a ton of accumulation. We have a little bit time until earnings, and look how it's just moving sideways here. Absolutely love that. It came back. It touched the 23-day EMA right here. Excellent looking setup. I mean, it shows there's a lot of power in this, even this day, which shows it looks like a red volume, but really it was an up day right here. So now all we've done is really consolidate sideways. I don't know if it needs another day, another week, another month to consolidate sideways, but this strength, creating this kind of flat base right here, that is really, really strong to me. So love plug. Another one that looks really good is LAZR. LAZR, again, big up, came back, retested the 23-day, and has basically been riding it since. You see these big green bars here, and what happens on the down days? Little shallow bars. Love to see that. That's amazing right there. So LAZR, LAZR, and it looks like it's starting to lift higher right here. So very actionable. Again, we don't have earnings until March, so at least a couple weeks. Next up is Lemonade. So Lemonade, once again, had a big up, then came back, moved sideways, and now is starting to lift higher again. Earnings, again, at least 2 weeks away. So it gives some time to kind of build out this base and hopefully start to move higher. But looks really, really good. I like these kind of the big ups, pull back on shallower volume, and then start to move higher. So it looks good, Lemonade. Next up is Peloton, PTON. So Peloton obviously has done extremely well. Got to this point, pulled back, kind of broke out here, retested, and now it's just been kind of creating this flat base. Some people may call this a cup and high handle. I think this handle is too long to be called that personally. So it's more like maybe a base on base type situation. But either way, I think that I like the risk reward here, because that if we dip below 137-ish, then the pattern's bust, right? And get the heck out. So you're risking very little, for a potential very big reward. Earnings are out of the way, so things will look pretty good there. That is Peloton. Datadog is next. So Datadog just had earnings and it gapped down. And so usually that would be a negative sign. But this candle says that buyers stepped in right at the 23-day basically and literally just started buying it, right? So it gapped down. Let's just see roughly how much it gapped down. Almost 9%. But at the end of the day, down only 4%. So it showed you that there's a lot of strength in this name. There's a great place right here you can manage your risk against, right? So it's not like, if it breaks out right here, boom. And you notice it's making higher lows the whole time, and well, not quite higher highs, but definitely higher lows. So it's got that VCP type pattern. So if this is another higher low, I would really like this for the breakout here. And you're just seeing tons of accumulation showing up in this name. So that's Datadog. Next up is going to be Chewy, CHWY. We got, again, lots of accumulation showing up in the chart. This kind of higher lows every time, and then a gigantic breakout, 9% day. So you have to decide whether it's too extended for you or not. Would love maybe, a sideways movement or down day just to, let this moving average catch up. As long as, 112, 113 holds. This one looks really, really good. Earnings, again, not till April, so excellent setup there. Next up is CrowdStrike, CRWD. Just here stepping higher, right? I mean, kind of had this little base right here, moved higher, create another little base, very similar looking, just on a smaller scale to this one, and now it's breaking out higher again. So it looks good. Look at this, again, volume on the down days, very muted, just tells me that, people are buying and holding this, and there's very few sellers in this name. Earnings in March, we got plenty of time. CrowdStrike. Next up is going to be our old friend Docusign. So Docusign started basing, back in July. So it's literally 6 months of this kind of flat base that's creating, even though each low is higher. So that's definitely something to be aware of. And I don't know if it needs one more pullback or if this is the breakout for real. No idea. But I do know that it had a gigantic run, moved sideways, and now it's trying to break out again. And this breakout right here was too soon, right? So this was the trap. Pulled back, and now and then it created you carved out these higher lows every time. So I think that looks great. I think Docusign, even after COVID is no longer, a real big thought, I think it changed the way that business is being done. And so Docusign looks really good, starting to break out. This can move much, much higher, I think. Earnings in March 10th or so. Actually, let's take a look here. Earnings on March 12th, according to TradingView. Next up is NIU. NIU Technologies, Chinese company, but I like this type of accumulation and this volume right here. It's at all-time highs basically, just trying to move higher. Little tiny double bottom it's trying to put in here. I don't know if that's legit for all it's going to do. It may need to move sideways more, but if I was going to manage risk, if it gets over $50, I mean, that looks pretty good, right? We can manage risk right against that level. And again, it looks like it's accumulation going on in this name. SDGR. So SDGR kind of made this little, we'll call it a cup, pulled back, not much of a handle to be honest, and then shot out. So it's getting a little bit extended. What I would look for in this one is a pullback. Maybe, I don't know, it doesn't have to go all the way 10% back, but a pullback towards this level, and that's where I would manage risk against. It has earnings on February 15th, which is tomorrow. So if this gaps down and then the buyers step in here, again, right around that $100 level. There's something magical about the $100 level. If it gets down to 101-ish, somewhere around there, and then decides to go higher, like that would be the point I would want to get involved, right around like 101-ish. And then I'd manage risk against this level. If it rolled back over, and so you could lose 3, 4, 5% on there. But I like the risk reward right here. This is the important area, and that's exactly what you want to look for in a BRB type of setup. So that's Schrodinger. Next up is RVP. So with all these syringes being used for COVID vaccines, RVP does syringe. They sell syringes, basically, is what they do. And so there's a premium now getting for these syringes. It broke out. It's now consolidating on much, much lower volume. This is a great buy point the way I look at things. So I think this particular stock has a lot of potential as a swing trade because right now the demand for syringes in the foreseeable future is going to be robust. All right, next up is Net. So Net is a lot like Datadog in the fact that we had earnings and a gap down and then buyers showed up. Datadog actually looks to me a little bit better than Net, but I love the accumulation that's been going on in Net. And so I think that there's a chance that, the Net, goes ahead and just comes right back up. Right now, the 23-day EMA held like a champ, just like Datadog. So I think that'll, break out above $88 right here. And I think this can go much, much higher also. And this type of accumulation isn't me or you buying. This is the big institutions. And so it looks fantastic. All right. And this little shakeout right here, it doesn't bother me. Again, I want to see it start to move higher at this point. But that doesn't, to me, I think that this bottom tail looks pretty good. All right. Next up is going to be Palantir. And this is my last one on my pure growth name scan. Number 13. Palantir I really liked. Over here, it broke out, came back, retested, second retest. And we have earnings coming up on February 16th, which is Tuesday. So, nothing I would go into on Monday or Tuesday until after earnings. Is this some kind of double top? Or is this just, a second retest and then it moves higher? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that this is a great risk reward area right here. So I would definitely wait till earnings is over. But I think Palantir has the potential to be a big mover and winner in the future. I just don't know that future is going to be after earnings on Tuesday or if it's going to be a year from now. But I like this area. I like this kind of setup. This double top has not confirmed yet, so it's just a potential double top. But the risk reward, these are the hard ones to buy, right? I get earnings, so everybody's up to earnings. But these are the hard ones, that came back and retest an area, because we don't know if it's going to roll over or bounce and move much, much higher. But it's a pretty good potential setup. All right, so then I have a few on my short squeeze list. Now, short squeeze means they have a high short ratio, which is a days to cover, but they're also items in uptrend and are growth names. So it's trying to identify names that have a lot of price dislocation and the market needs to reprice quickly. All right. So first one is Lovesac. They make bean bags and had this big move up. Now it's consolidating right into the moving average and trying to move higher. Again, good accumulation on this one, and it's got 5% short interest, something like that. Let's see, almost 20% short float and 6 days to cover. So that's Lovesac. OTRK. So on track. So this one has this kind of flattish base or maybe even inverse head and shoulders. And then it broke out and now it's been consolidating. So this one looks pretty good. You see how volume is starting to dry up a little bit in here. Some time to earnings. Would love to see this one kind of, after this little bit of retest, move much higher here. So Arch got hit on earnings. This was a pretty big down day, down 10%, followed through lightly here, and then maybe buyers are starting to step in. So earnings is out of the way, which is really nice. And I think this is a very nice place to measure risk against, right? So if price can get back above 52 and a quarter, 52.50, somewhere around there, I think Arch Resources, which I think they produce coal, I'm not even sure, looks really good though. Again, high short interest, high short float, and a growth name. That's what my screen looks for. So it has potential growth. All right, next up is Zixi, which is Zynex. Again, we have this kind of basing bottom look, and now it's consolidating, kind of a tight range. We have some time until earnings, so I'd love to see this one kind of break out, maybe try to get back to all-time highs or something like that. But this is a place to manage risk against. So I'd like this one. I have two more here. Cons, I don't even know what they do. Doesn't really matter. This was the big gap down, and that was back in 2019, at the end of 19. And so now it's created this kind of this base. And if we zoom in just to this more recent area, and I'm seeing a lot of tight price action here, it's really tightening up. So I love that it's tightening up. Also look at this gigantic accumulation bar here, and then volume just steadily has dropped off. It tells me that sellers are not very enthusiastic about selling anymore, and I think this one is an excellent place to manage risk against. So that would be CONN, C-O-N-N. And my last one on my short squeeze list is EVLO. It's hard to ignore this type of volume, right? It does have earnings soon, so that's that. I probably wouldn't be involved in this with earnings coming up, especially being, looks like a biotech or something. I would definitely wait till after earnings if I want to get involved in this one. So don't love this one. Actually, I probably should have left this one off just because earnings is close. But I do love this volume. It looks great. All right, so there we go. So we have 13 names that look very actionable within this coming week. Also 6 potential short squeeze. We'll call it 5 because I don't love the last one. And good luck out there. Again, please like and subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate that. Leave me some comments. Tell me which ones you liked. And following me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. Hope all these names passed your vibe check. And thank you very much. Have a great day.